Oh, hey guys, how the frig's it going? Oh, I was up late last night. Doing what? On YouTube, researching that stupid motor. Yep. Kind of overcast day. No idea if it's going to rain today. Originally, I wanted to go fishing today. That still might happen because I went and put fluoro on the Pissy Fun Spark Pro. Right me up there. And yeah, so I was woken up this morning. My potato face is barking because something I ordered on, I want to say Thursday, showed up today. And I literally never even checked the door to grab it. Figured, you know what, we'll save that for the video. Oh, I don't even have to go outside. It's right here. Nice. Nice, right, potato? Oh yeah. So, you all know I like to make my own lures because it's just more affordable, especially up here in Canada. Like a bag of stick baits in Canada ranges anywhere from $8 to $15 depending on the name brand. Does this have like one of those tearaway things? And you've all seen the video where I used coffee to make those stick baits, the Senkos, whatever you want to call them. One lure I never had was a Swimbait, and now I do. Oh, nice. So it's made by the same company that did the Swimbait Mold. So I might have to make some coffee swim baits. So they're small. They're 2.8 inches. I don't even know if that's come through on the camera. 2.8 inches. Farts out 3 at a time. Made out of that same method that the other one is. So yeah, it's going to make some nice little swim baits for nice little jig heads or drop shotting, which is what I want to use them for. Should be freaking good. Now, since I dropped that video of making my own baits, the coffee baits, I guess a lot of you didn't see the previous video when I first started getting into making the plasticol baits. I made a bunch of worms. We tested them out. They worked. We were happy, so on and so forth. But then I started getting questions like, well, how much does it take to get started on making baits? What exactly do I need and all that? Well, it's pretty simple. And then, of course, where do I get this stuff? Now, I did mention on the video of me making the coffee baits that you can get a lot of this stuff over at Amazon. But your initial startup is kind of expensive because you got to buy a lot of things that once you own them, you'll never have to replace them unless you break them. For instance, like the injector. I went cheap and I bought the $46 injector on Amazon without reading the reviews. And then I go back and read the reviews and everybody's complaining about the same thing I'm having issues with, where it's hard to press down and it feels like it's getting stuck. They have a more expensive one on there. And then they have the dual injector where you get this block and you have 2 injectors coming into the block and it basically laminates the top and bottom so you can have like a white base with a black top or a green top or whatever you want, and you can get that split colored look that some of these baits have. I usually fish with just solids, but in the future I may go that route because even though it is a dual injector, you can still use it as a single injector. You just put one nozzle, because obviously if you're mixing 2 colors, right, you're using 2 Pyrex measuring cups. So if you just mix up one color and use one injector on one side, it's just like having a single injector. So the dual injector is multi-purpose. You can use it as you wish. You don't need to always use the block on it to combine it. You can use it as a single injector. It's just a little bit more cumbersome because it's a bigger unit. Then you need your Pyrex measuring cups. I just went to the dollar store. For you people in the UK, I guess it's called Pound Town. When I found that out, I freaking laughed my ass off. Holy shit. Plasticol, I get it from a Canadian place called CM Angler, just because Canadian, less import fees. And we have different standards up here for our plasticol versus what they have in the US. That may have changed since I last looked at it, but as of when I last looked at it, our plasticol isn't allowed to contain certain materials that they can put in the US because of reasons involving the MNRF and regulations, probably the Food and Drug Administration, who knows? So our plasticol is not the same as your plasticol. Ours is a bit stiffer when it cures, but I can still get good results out of it. It's not a big deal. So you need your plasticol, your injector, your measuring cups, and obviously the most expensive part is the molds. Now you can be cheap like me and buy these sandstone molds, or you can go balls deep and get custom made CNC aluminum molds from like a company like Epic Bait Molds, for instance. You send them an image of what you want to shoot. They'll quote you a price on the mold, tell you how many units it's going to shoot. You say yes, you pay them. They run the CNC lathe, make your product. In the mail it goes, in your hands it is. That mold there, like I said, was about 40 bucks. The Senko mold was about 40 bucks. A CNC aluminum Senko mold, you're probably looking at a bill 50, but it'll shoot 6 at a time. And that's the other thing, is you got to make sure, like, if you're getting a huge mold with a lot of capacity, that your injector has the capacity to hold that much fluid, because you can't sit there and partially inject a mold, go back, grab more juice, and then inject and finish it off. You're going to get some weird split laminations in your lures, and it's going to cause integrity. Something to keep in mind. And there's obviously cheaper molds out there that are still CNC'd aluminum, but they're not as great quality. You know, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for creature baits, if you're looking for swim baits, if you're looking for flukes, if you're looking for Senkos, there's molds for everything. Just got to find them. You guys in the USA have a lot more options available. Canada is finally waking up to the homemade bait system. So I've been tempted to contact Epic Bait Molds and trying to get one of their sent to Canada, just so I can see, like, okay, what's it going to cost a Canadian to import from Epic Bait Molds? Because I know some stuff from the USA, I've bought parts for the Trans Am, like the headlight motors and the door window motors from Rock Auto in California. The import fees weren't too bad, but then I bought myself a pair of Kill Warrior gloves for stick fighting, and the shipping and import fees were about the same cost as the gloves themselves. The gloves were 68 bucks and the import fee was 67, which is ridiculous because they're lightweight padded stick fighting gloves. So brutal, just freaking brutal. So it's like hit or miss. You got to do your math. You got to figure things out. You also got to figure out when it hits customs, hits the border, how bad are they going to spank you for ordering out of country? You know, all this stuff comes into play. That's why I try to shop local, shop Canadian, so that I can keep that shipping cost down and still get a product. Amazon comes up clutch like that because, like, for instance, Fat Fish is an American company, but that mold was stocked in our Canadian warehouse. So they already covered the import fee from the US to America, to Canada, which is great. They've already flatlined that. They've already paid for that. That's awesome. Another thing you can do is, if you have a 3D printer, is you can actually, there's tons of different molds out there you can get, and you can print them up, and even out of PLA, they do hold up. They do hold up to injection. They will warp over time. You won't get as many shoots as you would, say, out of a stone or an aluminum one. It might start to lose structural integrity after a bit, and then you have some warped baits, but it can still be done. And at $25 for 1 kilogram roll of PLA, and you're not going to use that whole 1 kilogram on one mold. You're going to maybe use like maybe 150, 200 grams tops. So if you do the math on that, you're looking at like $5 for an injected mold that you probably get a couple runs out of before it's completely kiboshed. And by a couple, I mean, like, I've used those swim bait ones in the garage multiple times, made multiple baits. That's the top pour ones, and they've held their own. Now, obviously, if you print with a better material, you'll probably get more longevity. Like if you used ABS, it's pretty heat resistant. PLA Plus, it's very heat resistant. If you use PETG, maybe, I believe PETG is pretty thermal resistant. And then if you have one of those higher end printers, you can print carbon fiber and some other material that are very heat resistant. I'm gonna go out to the garage here. So I need to show you what you need. But yeah, he literally just did that and it worked. He was able to color his baits, and surprise, surprise, it actually worked. I should have grabbed that bait canister. Pissy fun's upstairs because I brought it in the house when I was doing some research on the old boat. Is that a drop of water? Did I just get hit with rain? They said it wasn't going to rain today. It's just supposed to be overcast. For crying out loud. So yeah, like I said, things you're going to need. And yes, you're going to need a microwave. And yes, I definitely do not suggest using your family's microwave, because if you do, you're going to wreck it after your first cook. Let me tell you, plasticol freaking stinks when you nuke it. So by all means, do not use the microwave in your kitchen like I have seen people do on videos involving cooking plastisol. You get a couple of these guys there and they're filming with potato cameras. Call them that because they're not the best quality camera, right? I'm gonna do a shot from this new mold. leave your plastisol in the cup and it gets that nice smooth finish. You're also going to need scissors. So yeah, like the simple things that I use daily on this project, I literally bought from Dollarama, like the Pyrex measuring cup, the sparkly stuff that I put in it, the Fleck as I call it. That's all Dollarama shit. I didn't buy that from a lure making business. At first it started off as a project. Will it work for baits, or being that it's Dollarama, will it just incinerate itself the moment I inject hot plastisol into it? I'm not quite sure. This is what I had the coffee in. I don't know why it turned black like that. No water should have gotten into it. Do I have a leak somewhere in the ceiling? Did I magically find it by putting that just in a strategic location? So yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to be reheating the plastisol that, like, you know, the sprues and old plastisol. I'm going to mix the black and this green together, because why the frig not? So something when you're, I don't want to just nuke this giant hockey puck because it's going to basically cause problems. You need to chop it down into smaller bits so that it'll actually melt properly. So yeah, just chop it down into bits here. You want some fairly small pieces, because like I said, if you use too large of a chunk, you're going to burn it. It's going to be a problem. That should be more than enough for what we're doing. I'll just chuck this back into the other cup. And now what you want to do is you want to nuke it for about 1 minute intervals. So yeah, like I said, for your microwave, guys, just go on like Marketplace or Kijiji, or if your microwave in your kitchen is completely potato and you can afford it, because that used to be my kitchen microwave, but from years of neglect I kind of ignored it and it got pretty gross, and now it's great for melting plastisol. You can just go that route and go to Walmart or whatever and buy yourself a new microwave. I'm looking for the scissors I had out here in case you're wondering why I'm not looking at the camera. But yeah, you just go to Walmart and buy yourself a new microwave, and then take your old kitchen microwave, bring it out to your garage, because you definitely do not want to be doing this in the house either. Oh yeah, now that I don't need them, I find them, eh? Scissors. But yeah, microwave's another potentially expensive thing. Pretty sure the molds cost more. I think you can pick up a microwave now for like $100 for a cheap one, or go on Kijiji. They're like a dime a dozen on there. All right, so do we have any meltage after a minute? I'm gonna say no. That is correct. No. It is getting soggier, so I'm going to put it back in for another minute. Now, this does get hot on the hands. You can buy these. They're basically heat-resistant gloves. They work amazing, and they got good grips on them. Like these red things are rubberized, so you can really grip the shit out of stuff. I also bought some measuring cups from Dollarama that I was going to use for measuring how much flake I put in. But then I realized, screw it, just pour it. Now, I bought these from Master Angler, CM Outdoors. That's the name of the company, guys, that I used to buy plastisol, and the it's called cmoutdoors.com. So this one here is black, I think. No, this is the pumpkin green pumpkin, whatever. Some lure oil, they just threw that in as a, here, try this shit out. Some black, that's all I usually fish with. And I have another color here. What color are you? Apparently I bought silver. I didn't realize that. I haven't made a silver bait yet, but I probably will someday. Maybe silver with some red flake in it, or we'll throw some purple flake, make it look really whack. Throw some gold flake in it. I actually need my glove right now because this cup is way too freaking hot. But after a couple reheats, you can probably see that she's gone back to a liquid state. Now this is something else people will do, is they'll reheat old, instead of buying plastisol, they'll just go into their tackle box and grab all the broken and deformed and whatever soft plastics they have, chop them up and shred them up or whatever, throw them in the microwave, turn them back into liquid, grab their favorite mold and reshoot. Another option, another way to recycle your baits, rather than doing like some people and taking them off your rod and just chucking them in the woods or back in the lake. What am I shooting this at? What temperature are you? 322? Yeah, it'll work. Yeah, I really need to buy a better injector. Oh, there we go. I'm just gonna hit it. It's been sitting out here for a while. It's probably degraded. 304. It's gonna hit it for another 30 seconds. Yeah, I've never seen injectors quite this crappy, but like I said, you get what you pay for. I don't know if it's because of the fact that the sidewall material on this is really skinny. So when you do get plasticol in these things, guys, I'm gonna warn you right now, they get hot. They get really, really, really hot. And if you need to, don't be afraid to use the gloves. Don't think it makes you less of a man. Protect your skin. I never use gloves because I'm not a pussy. Eh? Alright. Wow. All right, first injection into the new mold. Let's see how this turns out. Thinking tonight, if I go fishing, what I might do is just grab the pissy fun and head down to somewhere and just wear a fanny pack. Go fanny pack fishing. Instead of bringing all of that tackle down, just grab a couple jig heads, which reminds me I need to find my jig head making shit. I think it's over there. Yeah, because I want to make some swim baits. But yeah, just grab some weights, grab some hooks, put some baits in a bag, chuck them in the fanny pack, grab the rod and go. Less stuff to worry about. Go out and fish for a couple hours, come home, go to bed, wake up, new day, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and demold this and see if it actually worked out. I don't know if I shot enough plasticol in it. You probably noticed when I shot after it stopped, and you'll feel the resistance. I ended up lifting it and putting more down the sprue hole, and the reason for that is as it cools it contracts, so it sucks in from the sprue hole. If that sprue is empty, then it's literally sucking in air and it's going to cause a problem with your final end result bait. Now, I'm glad they included the pry spots on this, because something these stone molds do that I haven't seen a lot of the aluminums do is they stick together. But our end result is a very ribbed, very sticky. Some really nice swim baits here. So those are going to work great. Now, I thought there was a problem here and here and here, but it turns out that's where that's supposed to be there. So I'm just going to chuck these guys in the water. I'm going to make about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. That one also is a success. If I had more molds, like if I had bought multiples of these, but I'm not doing a production line, right? Like I know some people online, this is their, they do a YouTube video on how to do this, but they also sell their product as a way to generate extra revenue, where I'm just doing this for personal use. So one mold per bait is all I need for myself. But if you wanted to get into making a lure business and start selling your own bag lures and giving them a weird name, like how Guggen started, then maybe get yourself a couple of the same mold. And that way there you can shoot multiples at once. And then, yeah, this one also has flashing. I might be pushing down too hard, but luckily that flashing just peels right off. But there's an excellent chance I am pushing down way too hard. You're probably saying, Adam, why'd you go with such a small swim bait, 2.8 inches? Well, you remember fishing Camelot, right? It was just these little dinks trying to eat. I figure if I come across that problem again, and I sail one of these guys out on either a small jig head or a small hook and drop shot rig it, or even go old school split shot, I should be able to do some serious damage and pick off some little twerps. But yeah, that's basically making baits. Literally everything you see on the microwave minus the brass BBs and the USB cable and the wire back here. But everything you see up here, your dyes, your coloring, whatever you want to use. Worm oil is nice if you want to add it afterwards once you bag them. You can either do like me, and there's a chipmunk behind there. I bought bag. You don't need to. You can just reuse your old bag. That's what some of the guys do down south, is they'll use their own bags. And some guys, what they do is they grab a bag and they throw a bunch of different kinds of lures in it, stick it in a fanny pack. And that's what I'm probably going to do tonight if I go fishing, is I'm just going to put a bunch of different lures inside of a fanny pack, sail that out, see what we can catch, some hooks and some sinkers and some stuff. And that way there, I'm not carrying that huge bag down. Going through a bunch of lures that I never use. Like honestly, in that tackle system I have, I got a bunch of hard baits I never use. I'm always throwing soft baits. I barely ever throw like a shadow wrap or a crankbait. Let me tell you, it's really fulfilling when you create the lure that caught that fish versus bought that lure that caught that fish. So yeah, if you want to get into this, like I say, the material you need: injector, Pyrex cups. Make sure they're Pyrex. Do not use glass. It will explode in the microwave. Big mess. Not a good time. Trust me, I know. Found out the hard way. You're gonna need coloring. You're gonna need your molds. Pretty basic shit. And then just time. If you want to add some sparkle to it, Dollarama sparkle works fine. If you want to be more fancier, go buy the expensive shit. Same stuff, different price. That's it. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I do want to make another video trying stuff on the motor, because yeah, but that'll be for another day. So I'm gonna shut her down here. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about bait making, don't hesitate to ask. I might not have all the answers, but I've been doing it for a bit, so I might have some. All right, guys, until next time, peace the frig out. Sit, stupid, sit. Good dog.